Today we release our fall forecast, but we are in StormCentre right now for some severe storm potential across southern Ontario. Our focus is towards Lake Huron and Georgian Bay. That's where that red is. We are looking at the chance for some tornadoes, and we are already ahead of the ball here. Environment Canada has issued a tornado watch all the way from the upper Ottawa River to southern Lake Huron and everywhere in between. So Jessie, why are we looking at a watch right now?
Well, Kevin, the setup is quite significant here, something we don't necessarily see this late in the season. It's feeling a lot more like a July day across the lower Great Lakes. I bring it to satellite imagery because you see the center of circulation well across the upper Great Lakes. This is going to be the main weather driver, but what's trailing behind it and eventually slicing through portions of southern Ontario is going to be a very strong cold front. Now we talk about the conditions being favorable, a trigger within the atmosphere, which we mentioned, the cold front. We have lots of moisture, humidity within the atmosphere, and we also have the risk of tornadoes, like you mentioned. So we already have the tornado watches in place. That's because we have shear in the atmosphere. Another way to think of this is change in wind direction with height. As you move up above the Earth's surface, those winds shift out of likely the southwest, whereas the winds out of the surface, closer to the surface, are out of the south. Now, what are the differences between tornado watches and warnings? This is something we need to, again, remind everyone, our friends, family. You want to stay safe. You want to stay weather aware. You want to have a plan in mind when you are under a severe thunderstorm warning watch or even a tornado watch in this case. Now, warnings are issued when conditions are there. It's happening. It's on the ground. It's being spotted by either radar or a reliable spotter out. Again, this is, Kevin, a time where you do not want to be outside in this type of environment.
Yeah, so we will still have to watch for those warnings to be issued potentially within that tornado watch, but we'll also have to be watching just for our severe thunderstorm warnings as this line approaches. So the Huron shores up towards Parry Sound, North Bay, that's when we're going to be looking around sunset. So around 7 p.m. Then anywhere to the south and the east of that, it's going to be after sunset. So a little more dangerous when you can't really see the structure of the storm as it approaches. That's going to be a situation buried down to the GTA, Niagara, and even the Ottawa Valley. Don't forget the Ottawa Valley, very prone, especially with the southerly flow. As Jessie was mentioning, at the surface, we get some downsloping off the Adirondacks south of the border, and that can help spin up some local storms, Kingston, Cornwall, Brockville, that area. So this will all move out through the overnight. Wednesday, we're looking at a much calmer day, but here's a look at the winds we're going to have to endure before that. So this southerly flow at the surface, these are the winds you're going to be experiencing ahead of that front. Then you see that shift to the northwest, and that's going to be a much calmer flow once we see that frontal pass. So let's look at our risk. So this is through the evening, again, for Huron shores and Georgian Bay. That's our main focus. The GTA, you're not in that red just because those storms might lose just enough of their energy by the time they reach that 401 area. So we divided our risk map into two here. So this is what we're going to be looking at after sunset through this evening. And again, if you're looking for maybe a good soaking for your garden, it might come too much, but it also might be a little too dry across the south.